What's
What's
going
good?
on?
What's good? What's
What
good,
is
man?
good?
What's good, man? Welcome to another episode of the Football Frame of Mind podcast, man. I'm your host, Cam. That's my host, Coach Brandon, man. Uh, Today's the day we start getting into this preseason breakdown, man. You know what it is. Roll
SEC,
Tide.
baby.
Yeah,
SEC day.
yeah, SEC day, man. We get into start breaking down these conferences in college football, and then we shift focus to the NFL, man. So stay tuned for all of that. So you know the drill. If you've been watching this, man, our socials are at the bottom. Give us a
Follow.
like, subscribe, follow, man. We just passed 16,500 subscribers, man. So we are really excited about that. The growth is going to continue as we get closer and closer to football season. So we want you guys to be a part of that, man. So don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, all of that, man. So without further ado, man, let's talk about these sponsors, man. Well, one in particular, man. We'll talk about college football dogs, man. Join,
Dogs TV.
yep, Dogs TV. Join the revolution, man, of sports media. Got a lot of guys, ladies over there doing some real good work as far as the writing, the podcast, ownership as well. So join the revolution. We taking back sports media. We're a part of that journey, man. So, like we said at the beginning of this, we are doing our SEC breakdown, man. Every team, every well, no more divisions, but we're doing every team. Um, Set the precedent, man. We just give you a look of what happened last year so you can come into this season with a little focus on what to look for. That's kind of how the breakdown goes for us. We did it last year like this, and it did pretty good. So we're looking forward to keep going, man. So, but have to start the show off by asking you, bro, how you doing?
Man, any day we can be back in the lab, it's a good day. It's SEC day. It's the best possible. This is probably my favorite episode I wanted to do, honestly, between college and NFL. SEC day is just different. It's the best. So anybody that's watching, man, y'all about to have a really good time. You're about to hear a lot of really good in-depth like explanations, debates, discussions. It's gonna be a really good time. So if anybody's checking us out, definitely, like he said before, like, comment, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff, and let's have a good time.
I agree. I agree, man. So, like I said, today's the SEC breakdown, man. We're excited about this, man. We are excited about this, man. So let's start.
Ooh, SEC.
Yeah. So I'll let you kick it off, man. Let's start off with your team, man. I'm gonna show it on the screen just to give the people watching on all the platforms just a preface of what we're talking about, and then we get into what to expect this season, things like that. So there we go. So this, if you're looking on the screen, this is the LSU breakdown of last season, man. Pretty good season, bowl win. Looking to do more. So I will let you do what you do, and let's talk about those LSU Tigers, man. Let's talk about it.
So obviously, if you guys watched college football last season wasn't a bad season to say the least. I mean, a 10-win season, which is always a good season. You had a Heisman winning quarterback and a pretty prolific offense. Uh, Unfortunately, for lack of better terms, we had the country's worst defensive coordinator, which I'm going to continue to just emphasize on that because it makes Cam laugh every time. But
I agree. He was kind
it
of
was
he was pretty bad, man.
it was historically bad. So I mean, for the most part, not a bad season. But if we go back and you could have at least gotten decent defensive play from our team, I definitely think you're gonna find yourself maybe in that playoff talk, just maybe, because the defense really shot us in the foot really bad last season. Now
Really
going into
bad.
this, now going into this season, I'm very hopeful for this season because you have a quarterback, which the quarterback is the most important position on any roster on any team. If your quarterback isn't any good, your team's probably not going to be any good. Unfortunately, you have a
Agreed.
quarterback who's been able to kind of really grow in the system, being able to grow behind obviously a Heisman winning quarterback the last 2 years. Now he's given the reins. Guy who's got strong arm talent, improviser, can get the ball downfield to whoever he needs, whenever he needs. You're going into the year with Joe Sloan and Cortez Kennington, I think, is your co-offensive coordinators. You bring back like a 3 or 4 headed monster in the running back room. I think it's going to be really good for them. They did really good at picking up a couple of guys for the receiver room. You bring back Kyron Lacey. You get him to transfer in from Liberty. You've got 2 of the best tackles in the nation, and Will Campbell and Emory Jones, who are really going to help lock up those edges for your quarterback, and Garrett Nussmeier. But the big thing we're all concerned about, myself included, is going to be the defensive side of the ball. Defense was horrible last year. You couldn't contain anybody. LSU could have found themselves to be a 7-8 win team had the offense not been as prolific as it was last year. You fire Matt House.
Matt Canada was pretty good though.
Not for us.
Not for y'all. I thought it was
No.
pretty good.
No, that's a no. We can talk about that one another day.
Okay. That's cool.
But you fire Matt House, so you get rid of that. You lose a couple guys to the draft, transfer portal, whatever. You bring in a proven defensive coordinator in Blake Baker from the University of Missouri, who completely turned around Missouri's defense.
Haters.
Hey, the benefit of having Blake Baker is, one, you know he can turn your defense around. He's been a coach previous at LSU, so he's already got a lot of that history. He's got a lot of those relationships that'll really help them in recruiting. You get Bo Davis from Texas, which was quite possibly the biggest move of the offseason, in my opinion, because LSU really struggled. Yeah.
Still a hater.
LSU struggled tremendously on the defensive line last year outside of Makai Wingo, who is obviously gone now. Him and Mason Smith have moved on to the NFL. You're going to have a lot better play at the defensive line. You brought in some other guys like Kevin Peoples. You brought back, what is his name? I'm drawing a blank. Guy who came back from Florida. Oh, what is his name? I'm drawing a blank. I forget. Previously, all you LSU guys or SEC guys, you got to know who I'm talking about. Corey Raymond. That's who I'm talking about. Corey Raymond. They get him back, which is another huge addition to the defense and recruiting, especially position coaches probably in the secondary. I think LSU's going to be substantially better defensively. Do I think they're a top 25 unit? Probably not. Do I think they're a top 50 unit? Yeah. Which, if LSU is a top 50 unit next year, that's good. Because you're already really talented on offense. You're still good at the skill positions. The only thing they need to make sure is that they're going to put Harold Perkins in positions where he can disrupt the quarterback, which is obviously something me and you have talked about a bunch of times. Yeah. Obviously, if you're going to keep him at the middle linebacker position, I'm hoping that in certain packages and certain things you're running on defense, you will let him move out to the edge and be able to blitz the quarterback, because that's really going to help give your defense, one, confidence. It's going to help give them momentum. You possibly cause some turnovers and be able to get your offense the ball back, score points. That's always a good thing. So I think the big thing for me is they need better play for the defensive line. They need to be able to put Harold Perkins in positions to help the defense overall. And they need the secondary to step up too, which I think they will be better now that the defensive line will play better. Because you got to think, and you can attest to this as well as I do, the secondary can only keep up with these receivers for so long. If your defensive line isn't getting after the quarterback and he's sitting back there throwing dots, they can only stay with those guys so long. Somebody's going to have busted coverage, or someone's going to get burned because it's taken too long to disrupt the quarterback. So definitely I want to see the defensive line and the secondary. I think LSU's in a way better place. I think they could still be somewhere in that 10, 11 game win range, which this year, now that you're expanding to a 12-team playoff, you could see LSU sneak into the playoffs, definitely, where we could see a year where the SEC gets 4 to 5 teams in tops. And then we'll be having the same discussion like me and you said last time. What happens when the LSUs, the Alabamas, the Georgias make it to the Final Four, and now you're talking about trying to expand even more. So obviously that's another discussion we can go down the road. But overall, I think LSU's offense is going to be really solid with a guy who's ready to lead the offense and lead this team going forward. And I think the defense will be much improved and be able to help put us in better positions to win going forward.
Okay, no. I like that. I think Bo Davis is probably your best move of the offseason. Previous Bama guy, so he has some knowledge there. And he had us running at optimal level. So if he can do the same with like he did at Texas as well. With you guys, I think you got a chance. You got a chance. So, but I think LSU is gonna be pretty good. I see a couple people in the comment box when I posted who wins the SEC. They was like, why are we picking LSU? So you can tell some of those fans don't believe. But nah, man, I like Brian Kelly. I think he's one of my favorite coaches because even though he didn't win a national championship, he's consistency is his thing. If you're consistently there, the percentage of you winning pretty much goes up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and you keep your job. In some cases, consistency is not what they're looking for, but in most cases, at big programs, if they're consistent and consistently winning the games you're supposed to win, then you're pretty good, man. So I'm excited about LSU, man. So. Um, we'll get into the next team. The next team would be Bama, of course, man. I gotta go there.
I'm
Ain't
just
no ain't no stinker here. Ain't no stinker here. None of
no
that.
disrespect. I'm just messing.
None of that. None of that. Let's see. You see on the
Ooh,
screen that's Bama's season last year. Um,
much respect.
did some things. Did some things that I like, man. Obviously, I'm the Bama fan of the group. So I'm excited about this season. Last season, we did way better than I thought we were gonna do. Honestly, considering new offensive coordinator and oldie but goodie and Kevin Steele as defensive coordinator. So I wasn't too worried about defense because I know Kevin Steele is a player's coach and he gonna let them dudes just play. He's got a Jeremy Pruitt type of coaching style. Look, we'll listen to what you said as far as the game plan, but the game plan is just let's just go out there and play. And that's what they did. Defense last year was really good, man. I thought offense was the issue, because obviously Jalen Miro, that was his first year as a starter. You gotta have growing pains with
Mm-hmm.
a relative project quarterback, Even though he is a quarterback by nature, man, a project quarterback is somebody to me that has a lot of raw talent. And we know he can run, right? And we know he has a cannon for an arm, but we have to mold him into a weapon. Right now he's just a gun. We have to make him into a weapon. So I think he was good last season, and he got way better last season as it went on, right? But as you get into the playoff appearance, even the SEC championship game was good, but you could tell there were some issues, you know, just as far as making the throws that count and going into next season, those are things I have to see, right? I know that the college football playoff loss to Michigan was a great game, one of the best games I think you could ever have in the playoffs so far, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really good. And Michigan, I said it last year when we talked about the game. I said, look, if Michigan can get this game in a phone booth, we in trouble because
Mm-hmm.
that's exactly what they want. Exactly what they want. And in overtime, you condense the field to 25 yards. That is the phone booth. And we did not respond
Mm-hmm.
well to that. Even still had a chance to win. Still. So I applaud them for going that route anyway. But as far as next season, obviously the big news after the season ended was Nick Saban is no longer there, right? So it's a mad scramble to find out who was going to be the next head coach of this castle, this kingdom of Alabama football, man. And I'm excited to say that I like Kalen DeBoer. I like the journey he's been on. I like the fact that he's an offensive coach. Nick Saban was madly defense, right? But I would say that he lost his fastball a little bit in the last 5 years, you know. And not saying like he wasn't a good coach because it was, but I felt like a lot of the recruits that we got were losing the message, a little bit, and the fact that he got older and he has grandkids and wants to spend time with that. I think that started to bark a little bit more in his head, still a football coach, still out there getting it, but it was if there was any time for a change, it would have been this year. Hell, it could have been last year, honestly. But this year specifically, there's a tone deaf thing, that has to change. The message, hey, we Bama, we got the fourth quarter program, but there has to be a change of scenery, as far as at the head of the snake, and a guy that just was in the national championship game last year is a perfect candidate. I mean, he literally kind of took the same road as Saban, minus the NFL experience. But as far as we're looking at college, Saban started at Toledo, then he went to Michigan State, then he went to
Mm-hmm.
LSU, then he went to Bama, right? Like I said, minus the NFL stuff. But you look at Kalen DeBoer, he went to like Sioux Falls, something, and then went to like Fresno State, and then like went somewhere else before that, and then he gets the Washington job. But one key part of his journey is that every place he went was garbage before he got there, and then he left, and they were better than when he got there. Every
Mm-hmm.
place. I know that Washington was going through Coach Lake at the time, and that was kind of rough. That was rough, man. I didn't expect him to be that bad, especially coming off of Peterson. But Kalen DeBoer goes there. They stabilize it. I think they win back-to-back Pac-12 championships. So really good, really good, and I expect him to do the same. I think he's going to tackle NIL a lot better than Saban did. I feel like Saban, that was kind of the curveball that he really couldn't master, right? But I feel like DeVore is going to harness Jalen Milroe because he has, similar skill sets as far as Penix is concerned, right? Penix has a cannon for an arm, right? Penix injury history didn't allow him to run, right? But you got a case with Jalen Milroe that you could just let him go. He can be a part of the run system. So I'm excited about that. The defense, I'm excited as well. A new system. I think we're running instead of like a 3-4, we're running like a 4-2-5. So I think as far as going against teams like LSU, teams like Ole Miss, Auburn that like to spread the ball around a little bit, I think you have a chance to defend them just off the rip. Because you're always going to be having four defensive backs out there. And you can mix and match here and there, but I like that idea. It has me thinking about how good our defense might be. So I expect the team this year to be a playoff team. I think that's the standard that's been set. And the fact that it's an extended playoff, we could take a couple losses. I mean, you don't want to, obviously, but it's not going to hurt you in this landscape because one thing about the college football playoff, it's about money.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter what it is, they going to want some money. And Alabama got 2 losses in a 12-team playoff. I'm sorry, Fresno State, Boise State, whatever state you want to call. You're not getting in because money is the deal.
Sure, you got to have a few moneymakers in there, man. It's unfortunately
Exactly.
like what we're the thing we're living in, but it's just the way it is.
Yeah, man, that's what it is. So, like, I expect them to be there. Now, as far as the SEC is concerned, since this is an SEC breakdown, um, do I expect them to be in the SEC championship game? I'm gonna say yeah, because the element of surprise is there. Nobody knows what this Bama team's gonna look like. I felt like when Saban was going through this last stretch, you knew what to expect. You don't know what to expect with Kalen DeBoer. And I like that element of surprise. So I feel like that alone is going to win us some games. But this is a tough conference as we'll get into. But that's my breakdown of Bama. But I'm excited about the season, man. So now that we got that out the way, man, let's get into the rest of the SEC, man. So we're gonna get into this next team, man. It should be fun to talk about. Let's talk about Georgia, man. Um, Actually, I'll let that run a little bit so people can see it, man. But yeah, 2023 Georgia was really good. Nothing changes about them for real. They still got Kirby Smart. They still got defensive coordinator Glenn Schumann. A couple of different assistants there as far as Tavares Robinson, I think that's his name, the defensive backs coach, came from Bama, goes to Georgia. Their other defensive back coach left and got the head coaching job at Syracuse, which I'm actually really excited about.
That's actually going to be really interesting. Whenever we get into the ACC video, I wanted to talk about that.
Exactly. So that's exciting. But we can alternate. What you think about Georgia?
So I feel like there isn't a whole lot you need to get into with them. Like you said, they're bringing back a lot of their core. Dude, they have been killing it in the transfer portal and in recruiting, dude. They have been killing it. Kirby has been freaking ruthless, bro. Georgia's going to be a good team regardless. I'm still wondering what we're going to see from Carson Beck. I think Carson Beck's a good quarterback. He hasn't shown me enough yet to have him in these big – because I remember, I think a while back, me and you, we went over I don't know if it was highest reward to win the Heisman or best rated quarterbacks coming into the season.
Yeah, it was the Heisman odds.
Yeah. So I'll be honest with you. Yeah. I don't think he's a bad quarterback by any means. And it benefits you to be in a Kirby Smart system with all this plethora of talent. Just like how back in the day with Alabama, yeah, y'all were really good at running the ball, but it really benefited y'all quarterbacks who maybe weren't as great because y'all were loaded at the skill position. So it made it a lot easier in those situations, maybe where they weren't as good because they always had somebody to give the ball to. I don't think he's bad by any means. It's going to ride on him, though. I think defensively, they're still going to be really solid. They've been solid for as long. I mean, you can vouch for it. They've been solid on defense for a while, bro.
Yeah.
Like, very good. Skill position-wise on offense, I think they're still really good. They're definitely going to be one of those anywhere between 3 to 5 SEC teams in there. I definitely expect them to be in there. It's kind of a different year for everything, though, because we're not going east-west anymore, which I like, but I kind of don't like because I like traditionalism. I like the way things were. But, I mean, when you expand, especially the way we expanded, something had to give, and the east-west, I mean, it's going in that direction anyway. The Big Ten, I think, did the exact same thing, if I'm not mistaken, and they added like another 4 teams. So, but overall, I think Kirby's got Georgia in a really good place. I think Georgia's already locked in to be a top 5 unit going into the season. I don't know where they're ranked as of right now in the top 25. But talent-wise, they're loaded. Coaching staff is still there. I think it's all going to ride on Carson Beck and how he decides. Well, not how he decides, how he comes to play, especially against some of these other units this year. Like, the SEC is going to be even better. Like, me and you were ranting and raving last year about how good the conference is. This year, it's even better, dude. Like, teams that we thought, not bottom feeders, middle of the road, those teams are better. Yeah. And we're going to start getting into some of those teams. But I think a lot of teams are going to be looking to knock Georgia down a bit this season. And I'm really curious to see how Carson Beck handles that pressure, and is he going to step up to the plate, or are they going to rattle him a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, Carson Beck is just like Stetson Bennett, man. I think he's
I think that's a little disrespectful, though. I think he's better than Stetson.
I mean, when I say he's just like him, he just does his job, and that's it.
You know, nothing crazy. Just gets the job done.
Yeah, every quarterback that Georgia's had since Kirby got there has done the same thing. Just do their job and don't lose the game. That's it.
Besides Jake, that's about the only. I feel like that's been
Yeah, I mean, Jake Fromm was probably the best one out of all of them. Yeah. But the same makeup is the same makeup. They just do their job. They know they're going to play good defense, and that's what they're going to do. And as long as you don't lose the game, you'll keep your job. And that's exactly what happened, man, with Georgia. They won those 2 back-to-back championships with Stetson Bennett. He did his job, and that was it. Wasn't too much more, wasn't too much less, and that's what Georgia is, man. So, but I'm excited to see what they do, man. So, but let's get into the next squad, man. The next squad on the list, and then we'll go in order after that. I just want to get those big teams out of the way, man. But now we go in a little bit of a different order, just descending after that. So, but let's throw a curveball out there, man. Let's talk about the Razorbacks, man. You see on the screen, not a very good season, man. Not a very good season at all, man. 4-8, very bad win total as far as in conference as well as out of conference. But it's not that crazy as I look for the thing over. But we're talking about Arkansas, man. I don't know. Like I said, we alternating, so I'll let you talk about Arkansas, man. But I'll start by saying this. I am a big Sam Pittman fan.
Yeah.
So I don't want him to lose his job at all, but I know how this goes. It's not pretty.
So I think he's done a really good job of cleaning things up. Although they have underperformed the last couple of years, I am curious to see what they're going to look like offensively now that KJ is gone. Obviously, the last couple guys ended up transferring out as well. I think he's done a really good job trying to establish his culture. My biggest thing is, where is the line in the sand with the ADs and everything with Arkansas? Because there's gotta be a point where, like, if we're not winning 6 or more games, man, like how many more years can we keep holding this off? Like, how much longer is it going to take? Now, we talked about this before. Some jobs you have to be a little patient because it doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes you have to take a couple years to rebuild Rome and to get the culture reestablished and to get back to winning and recruiting and NIL and all that. I think he's done really good at turning things around. He just needs to get the product on the field that's going to win him the games. 4-8's not going to cut it this year, especially not with Texas and Oklahoma teams we're going to talk about as well. And like we said, everybody got better. I don't feel like any teams really got worse. I think everybody got better. So I'm assuming Pittman's going to have everything together. I could see them at least winning 6 or more games. But if something happens and they struggle and if they end up around the same win total, man, I don't want to see him get fired. I don't. But I don't know, man. I think it's within the realm of possibility it could happen. Do I think it's going to happen? No. I think Arkansas is going to be better. I think he still does really good in recruiting. They done surprisingly well, at least in the little I've done research in and watched. I think they're going to be okay. I just want to see where they're going to be at offensively now that KJ Jefferson is gone.
Yeah, I mean, KJ Jefferson was a big loss, but I mean, he had played his time there, and it was time to do something else, man. I mean, he needed to leave and kind of expand his game because he's a really good player, man. And I think he had been in Arkansas his whole life because I think he got recruited out of Arkansas. So, I mean, time to, if you want to make some money, man, sometimes you gotta leave home. And I think that's kind of how it went, man. And 4-8 was rough. But I think I think they can come back. I think they can just go back to ground and pound. And if you win ugly, so what, man? It's still a win. I think that's what Arkansas does best. When they win ugly in the trenches, every time they've been good, had their run of success, one thing is paramount.
Run game.
That's it. That's always been the thing. Especially when we was coming up, you have Felix Jones, Darren McFadden, Peyton Hillis, all in the backfield. You know the game that I'm about to talk about, where they won in like triple overtime against you guys, right? So, I mean, tough game. But, I mean, that is how they win. Run the ball. So, but, yeah, man. But do you know where you can get more college football content?
College football
or football content in general. College football dogs, man. Check it out.
On the College Football Dogs website, you'll find a main page that features some of our biggest and newest stories. our conference pages for content related to your favorite team's conference, our team store where we have products that are available all year long, as well as gear available for a limited time only, our podcast page where you can see when one of the 12 plus College Football Dogs podcasts is streaming live on social media, our subscription page where you can join our Discord. If you're interested in becoming a contributor at College Football Dogs, email us at info@collegefootballdogs.com. If you enjoy any College Football Dogs content, we really do appreciate any donations you can make by visiting the donate page on our website or scanning the QR code here.
College Football Dogs, for the fans.
Yeah, man. College Football Dogs, man. Join the revolution, man. Taking back sports media, man. So we did Arkansas, man. So it's time to talk about my other SEC team, my favorite. Well, not favorite, but only because it's the hometown, man. Hometown state, man. Let's talk about these Mizzou Tigers, man. So Mizzou wins the Cotton Bowl, right? They're gonna win the Cotton Bowl against Ohio State. Ugly game. Ohio State was down a few players, man. Few really prominent players. Started a quarterback that got hurt early, so it was just downhill in that game, man. But I'm not gonna take this win away from Mizzou, because even though they were missing some players, they recruit at a high level. Ohio State is what I'm talking about. They recruit at a high level, and their backups are better probably than the starters for Mizzou. So it really was no excuse for them not to show up for this game, because now, since a lot of people sat out or was hurt or whatever, the backups should have took it upon themselves to say, hey, we're going to show out, because guess what? I want playing time next year. But it just seemed like they didn't show up, and Mizzou just hung around, and then they said, okay, well, we got a chance to win this game. Let's just hand it to our bell cow, Cody Schrader. Led SEC in rushing last year, which is a big deal in my opinion, and got him drafted. So it worked out, and they won this game. So the question is, coming into this season, they've had a lot of good pickups, man. I think they got a 5-star recruit from the Mizzou State. So he's in the fold. You have Luther Burden III coming back, who I think is going to be a top 10 draft pick. He's got speed. He can do your jet sweeps, man. I don't know if he plays kick return, but he's just that explosive. I would have him doing that too. Brady Cook comes back for his last season, I believe. So that's some continuity. Now you gotta think, what's the next step? You win more than 10 games. It's been a long time since they've done that in the SEC. So what's next? What's the next step, right? You would think, there are teams in the SEC that haven't been to the SEC championship game. Mizzou's done it twice. So is that the step? The next step is to go back to the SEC championship. I believe that's the deal. So with divisions, it was kind of easy. You knew you had to beat Georgia and then not lose to anybody else, right? Mm-hmm. But now it's a combined schedule, so you're gonna have to beat everybody. You can't lose to not one person, because one loss, two losses push you behind the 8 ball. So I like what they're doing. They picked up a transfer from Clemson, I believe, and he's going to be starting for them. One of their cornerbacks got drafted. So I thought that was pretty cool. I think his name is Luke Kirkstrain or something like that, or Drain, something like that. He was really good, though. Really good, like all SEC good. So he got drafted. So there's some things brewing with Mizzou, man. I mean, they gonna dominate the Midwest. because the SEC logo speaks louder than maybe the Big Ten or whatever. So the fact that they're in the SEC, it works, and I like it. So I want to see them take that next step, and I think they can. I like what Eli Drinkwitz is doing there. I mean, he's got an energy about him, like just, like him and Shane Bieber have the same energy. If I'm being honest, like they just love college football,
and they're young and they're hungry.
Yeah, like they want to be that next wave of really good coaches, man. So don't be surprised, man, if they really shock some people, man. I think they got a lot of good and they got a lot of talent, man. So I'm looking forward to it, man. So that's my take on Mizzou, man. I'm excited about that. Excited about Alabama, man. I'm excited about the SEC, man. I think it's going to be good, man. So, but let's get into our biggest rival, Tennessee, man. And I know it's surprising that people actually say like, "Oh, Tennessee's like not their biggest rival," but it really is. Like people like we talk about Auburn, and that's like the biggest rivalry game. But as far as like rivalry goes, we don't like Tennessee at all. Like we just like dislike Auburn, right? We really don't like Tennessee.
You hate Tennessee. Just capital Hate.
Yeah. Like I do not like Tennessee at all, man. Like I don't like the colors. I don't like Peyton Manning. Like I don't like none of them. Todd Helton, baseball. I don't like him either because he went there. Like I don't like none of them. Man. I hate Tennessee, man, with a passion.
What about Hendon Hooker?
No, I definitely don't like him.
No,
I definitely don't. Like, bro, really? Come on, man. I definitely don't like Hendon Hooker, bro. You out of your mind. I definitely don't like Hendon Hooker, man. But yeah, bro. But let's just talk about Tennessee, man. Before we get started, man, we got a couple comments in here, man. Let's see what we got, man. Let's see. I think that's
Bingo Productions.
Your
shorts, bro. Your shorts.
Yeah, shorts are really nice, man. Let's see. We got from CD Clips. What's up, man? What's up? What's up? What's that? We're gonna talk about Texas.
We're gonna get there.
We're gonna get there. Yeah, man. I definitely don't like Hendon Hooker, dog. I don't like Tennessee at all, man. Like I don't like none of them.
I know when we finally blow up. I know what I'm gonna send to his house too. It's gonna be a nice bright orange Tennessee hoodie.
You better not send that stuff. You better not send nothing orange over here, man. I don't even like
it to be a new color, bro.
I don't even like orange. I don't even like oranges. That's how bad it is. And they good for you.
It runs deep.
Yeah, man.
That's fun.
He said me either, but I like Peyton Manning.
Mr. XL for the helmet.
Okay, all right. I take it back. I kind of like Peyton Manning in the NFL, but college.
Yeah, excluding like where he went to college, we just forget about that part. Like his career started in Indianapolis.
yeah. Like wherever he went to college, no, bro. Should have went to Ole Miss like his dad, and then we would have been cool.
Hey, they would have cut up though. That would have been kind of nice.
Yeah, that would have been nice, man. But give me your thoughts on Tennessee, man.
I think Tennessee's one of those sleeper teams, man. Nobody's talking about, and especially like we haven't really even talked about them being. This is my thing. Like Tennessee can underperform, and the next year come back even stronger. Like last year was not a bad season. They still have a really good guy at the quarterback position. They're stupid talented at the skill positions. Especially the last few years, dude. They have been killing it getting skill position players. You got a good young head coach, man. Tennessee's a scary team.
Yeah.
And if they are hitting on all cylinders, we just got done talking about this a couple weeks ago. They're hitting on all cylinders offense, bro. They're dropping a 35 to 45 bomb on you. Easy, bro. I'm talking between 2 and 3 quarters. They can score, but they're very underrated on defense. Very talented, very deep. Tennessee is definitely not a team I researched a whole lot about, but just in our experiences playing them and your experiences playing them, Tennessee is one of those teams that they're always talented and they can come and beat you any given Saturday, bro. It doesn't matter if their record's 2-10 or if they're clicking and they're freaking 9-0. It doesn't matter. They will come to play. And I definitely think they're going to be one of those sleeper teams that they're like, okay, write us off. You got these other two new teams in here. You're talking about Ole Miss, you're talking about LSU back. Do that because we're going to come and we're going to freaking put 50 on you, and you're going to be wondering what the heck happened. I think Tennessee's going to be a really good team in the SEC. Do I think they're a playoff team? Not necessarily. I definitely think they're in the realm of being like 9-10 win team, just depending on how the dominoes fall this year, because we really don't know what's going to happen with no divisions and the way the schedules are. Definitely going to be interesting, but I think with their quarterback, I think he's really talented too. Watch out for Tennessee to be the thorn in a lot of people's bottoms going into this year. I have high hopes for Tennessee. Do I really care for them? No, but they're a scary team. Probably one of the scariest teams in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's fandom aside, man. Josh Heupel is a freaking offensive genius, man. He will. I don't I don't know, man. I feel like once you get to the SEC in college football, like even if you're at Vandy, right? You're still in the SEC, man. So the
Yeah.
quality of player that you can get, even if you're a bottom SEC team,
Yeah,
is
just from
still
having that
better.
logo.
Yeah, it's still better than other teams, right? So it don't take much to get hot, right? And to for him to have the mindset to get players, not only from other states but Tennessee, because it's not a hotbed, so he can just sit on the good players and
Mm-hmm.
add to what he likes to do in his offense. Man, spread the field, five wide,
Open it up.
run through there with a quarterback with a cannon arm, man. So it's like you're gonna have a lot, man. And speaking of their quarterback, he's gonna be really good, man.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think they will be a playoff team. As we get into later on, I think they'll be a playoff team just because their excitement level. I think the fact that they can score 40 points, fans like that, advertisers like that, money, 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 that's exciting. So I think if it had to be them or someone else, I think they get in. They're probably a lower seed in the playoffs in this format, but I think they get in because of the money aspect, man. So 40 points, man. So we'll see. But the next team we're gonna get into, man, surprised me last year how bad they were, considering their offseason acquisitions that following offseason, right? After their big season. But let's talk about South Carolina, man. 5-7 last year, man. Some really close games against some ranked opponents, man. They had a chance to beat Georgia, which that was one of the games we picked last year. That was going to be that Georgia had to be up for, and they almost beat them, but Georgia hung in there and they beat them, and that I think kind of hurt their season a little bit because they knew they had them and they knew they had a chance to really make some noise in the East at the time. So I felt like it hurt a little bit because I am a big Shane Bieber fan. Shane Beamer, not Bieber. Shane
Not the
Bieber.
Beaver. Not the
Bieber.
Beaver. Not Brandon.
God damn it. I can't talk today. Shane Beamer, not Bieber. Uh, but I really like his energy. I like the way he coaches, man. I'm not sure who their quarterback is going to be this year, but I'm actually excited to see Rocket Sanders uh, behind a better offensive line this year because he transferred there from Arkansas. So Rocket Sanders is playing for some NFL money, and I think he has a smooth running style that I think would suit well in the NFL, man. Especially when you're talking screenplays, you're talking all kind of things. I think he's one of these guys that can really, really benefit, from being in a new place. And if they have to play him a lot more than he would normally play, I would do it. If he's the guy, right? And we have to ride him to win 8 games this year. Let's do it. Over the history of the SEC, South Carolina has been a mid-tier team. I mean, they've had teams that have been 10-win plus. They've had teams that beat Alabama. They had teams that beat LSU. They've had teams that beat Georgia. So it's not uncommon, right? But I think the biggest game that they have on their schedule is Clemson. That's the measuring stick for how good they are. And
Is
they
that
beat
early on?
Clemson. Huh?
Is that early on?
No, that's always at the end of the year. That's like
Oh,
Georgia
okay.
Tech and Georgia.
Yeah.
It's always at the end.
You're right. My fault.
So, but that's the measuring stick for them. If they are close with Clemson or beat Clemson, they right there. If that game's a blowout, they not close at all. And this season probably has been real bad. So it depends. If they're real good going into that game and they beat Clemson, then they right there. They just need to add on to it, right? If they're bad and they go into their game against Clemson, but I mean it's a rivalry game, so it'd be close or whatever. But that's the measuring stick for how good their season is going to be, in my opinion. It's like one of those good rivalries that they're really that's really a hotbed game. Like that's like Duke and North Carolina in basketball, bro. That's how bad those teams want to win that game. So, but that's the measuring stick in my opinion. But South Carolina, I think they will improve. I think they'll improve this year. I think the ceiling for them is probably 8 wins. The floor is exactly what they did last season, 5. If they go less than that, then we start smelling some hot seat, man. Because I know South Carolina is one of these states that has some talent. So it's not like you can't win there. And the fact that you're close to Florida, you're close to Georgia, you're close to Alabama, and you got the whole Eastern Seaboard, the DMV, you got some other states over there too, man. You can even swing into Texas. It's all in your region. So you got a lot of hotbed talent that you can get. So it's not like you're in Idaho or something where you have to nationally recruit. You can win in South Carolina. And I think Shane Bieber has the tools to do it. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see what he can do, man. Let's see. CD Clip said Spencer Rattler, man. But hey, Spencer, why they won 5 games anyway?
Yeah.
Like he's the reason why they won. And because they won 5 games, that's why he got drafted where he did. If they were really bad,
he might have been undrafted.
Really, really bad, he'd probably be undrafted. But because he played well against Georgia, at least in the first half, and then he played consistent throughout the season. Not really good, not really bad, but consistent. That's why he got drafted by the Saints, because he was a consistent player. And, the 4th round, you can take a risk on a player. As Mel Kiper says, you can't make a mistake in the late rounds. And it looks like from all the training camp OTA talk, Spencer Rattler might be in the running for some playing time next year. Not saying he's going to start, but if things start tanking for Derek Carr, don't be surprised if he takes the field. So Spencer Rattler, yeah, you laughing at him, but he's really good. And
don't sleep. There was a reason he was projected to be a top 5 pick, bro. It wasn't because people were overhyping him either.
Yeah, exactly, man. So let's get into this next team, man. As you know, let's get into one of these teams, man. This next team, we have some new additions to the SEC, and this is one of them. Let's talk about Oklahoma, man.
Oh man,
talk about Oklahoma, man. Woo, so let's see what you guys say about OU, man.
So before I even get into the breakdown, I know one of our viewers right now is a vivid Oklahoma fan. So please take what I say with a grain of salt. Do not take it as disrespect. I have no ill will towards Oklahoma. Let's just get that out there. So Oklahoma is in an odd spot, in my opinion. They've got Jackson Arnold, who I think is going to be a really good quarterback. They've been
and they got General Booty too.
Yep. General Booty.
What? That's his name.
I know it's just funny the way you
That's
said
his
it.
name, bro.
General Labuti. All right. Oklahoma, I know I've been saying this for a couple of the other teams. Oklahoma's probably, out of anybody in the SEC, Oklahoma's probably been doing the best in recruiting and in the transfer portal. Brent Venables has been freaking on the grind, bro, because he knows it's going to be a heck of a job to try to get this transition into the SEC. I think Jackson Arnold's going to be really good for them. I think he's going to be one of the main reasons they either make or break this season. I think they're ultra talented, but I am going to be honest with you. I have concerns. I do. I know you get your guy at quarterback. The SEC is a different animal, man. I just haven't. No disrespect to Oklahoma. I just don't know if I've seen enough yet to know that it's going to be a smooth transition for them. Just like Cam just got done saying, it can be anywhere from the top 3-4 teams all the way down to Vanderbilt, Kentucky, South Carolina. They're going to play you, bro. It's going to be a tough game every week. Every time you're playing in conference, it's going to be a tough game. And I just don't know if I'm sold on them being any more than maybe an 8-win team this year. No disrespect. I think they'll still be a good team nonetheless. They're not going to be crappy at all. They're going to be good. But if I had to pick one of the two teams out of those two that's going to have the most success in year one and maybe the first few years going forward, I'm going to go with Texas, just off of just their body of work and their portfolio over the last few years.
Wait. We get into Texas. We'll get into Texas.
No. Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. But just based off of recent success and just what they've been able to do, I would say them. Oklahoma's not in a bad spot. I think Venables just needs to show me a little bit more. Being a defensive coach, and kind of like how you said, I think it was a few episodes ago, you were like, if it would have been Lincoln Riley as the head coach going into the SEC, I'd probably have a little bit more confidence, not from a defensive perspective, but at least I know that they would be able to put points on the board and they could score with the best of them in the conference. With Venables, I think it's still a little bit of a learning curve offensive-wise. I think you're really talented on offense. You got a good quarterback. Obviously, the skill positions are always going to be good for them. But I think he's going to have a little bit of a problem trying to score with these teams like a Georgia, like an LSU, like an Ole Miss, like a Tennessee. Like, you're going to have struggles trying to score, even Texas. Like, you're going to have trouble trying to score with these guys. I think they're going to be good, but I think their ceiling's 8. 9 wins tops, but I think they're more in the 8-win range. That's just me. No disrespect. I think they're still going to be a really well-rounded team, but I need to see a little bit more.
Okay, now I can understand that, man. I can understand that where your discourse is, man, on that. But let's see. He's like, I was laughing because he left Oklahoma. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did. But I mean, considering Caleb Williams, considering Caleb Williams is the first overall pick, can you be mad? You can't be mad. Can't be mad, man. And then Boomer, and he's laughing, and then he's like, I don't know
I'm just saying,
how good they're gonna be. I think we need to get better at recovering because it's gonna be.
That's what I got, dude. The SEC is a different animal, bro. Doesn't matter bottom feeder or top team. You're gonna have a war every time you go out there on Saturday, bro. Every game. It's an adjustment, bro.
Yeah, man. So, I think Oklahoma will be all right, man. I think they'll be all right. I think defensively, that's going to win them a lot more games than offensively. So, I mean, if they got to win ugly, they got to win ugly, man. I mean, how many ugly games have we seen in the SEC over the past few years, man? So, if you win it, you win it, man, and that's just what it is. So, I know Venables just got the extension, and they're going to go into this knowing that they got a coach for a while. And I think it's cool, man. He ain't going to be going to the NFL no time soon unless it's like a defensive coordinator job. So he's not getting a head coaching job. But I think if he went to the NFL on the defense, man, I wouldn't be surprised, man, because he's got genius in him. And I mean, he took Oklahoma's defense throughout the late 2000s into a few national championship games throughout that decade. So it's not like he doesn't know. You right? So, and then he went to Clemson throughout the 2010s and did his thing. So, you already know he knows what he's doing. So that part right there, I'm excited about, without a doubt. So, but I think they'll be all right. But let's get into this team, man. You got one more comment. Let me get that thing, man. Let's see, I like Auburn. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that was a good game. But I don't care about Auburn, man. Get out of here.
He
I'm just playing.
secret.
I'm just
He
playing.
secretly. He secretly likes them.
Nah, bruh. Not at all. Ain't no
He likes
secret.
the voodoo house.
Man, I hate that place. That's the worst stadium in the world, man, where things just happen. Things just go wrong there, bruh. Like that's a rough place to play, man. But let's get into the next team, Kentucky Wildcats, man. Solid season. Another great what's the coach's name? I know
Stoops. Not Stoops. It's Wait. No, is
Stoops.
it?
It's
Yeah.
Stoops, but I
Yeah.
don't
It's
know
Mike.
which one. I
Is
don't
it
know which
Mike
one.
Stoops?
Huh?
Mark Stoops? I'm
Mark?
trying to. No. Damn, I
It
feel
might be
bad.
Mark. It might be
He's.
Mark. It
Yeah.
might be Mark Stoops.
I think it's Mark. Oh
No,
damn, I
no,
feel
no,
bad.
no. Let me see.
We
Let me
don't know
see.
what we're talking about. We're not
Uh,
professionals here.
Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. I know it's a Stoops though. I know it's
Yeah.
a Stoops.
No,
Yeah.
you're right. Hope I'm right. So I don't
Yeah,
look
let me
silly
see.
on national TV.
Yeah, it's all good though. We can look it up. That's why we got the internet, man. We got everything.
The what?
We got the internet.
Gotta wait for that dial
Man, nah, ain't that bad. Mark
up.
Stoops. Yeah, Mark Stoops.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, Mark Stoops. We talking about Kentucky, man. Kentucky, 7-6 last season. A typical Kentucky season, man. If they are within the 7, 8, 9 win range, you know they continuing to do their thing as far as recruiting, NIL, man. Hell, they might have basketball players playing on there. It don't matter because Kentucky is Kentucky, man. And they had a great lineage of coaches, man, that have been there, done that. So I want to say Bear Bryant coached there at one time. They've had plenty of great coaches, plenty of great teams. So they have a lineage of being a really good program in the SEC. But they've always won, either been bad or mid tier and a thorn in people's sides. Doesn't matter
Mm-hmm.
who they play, they're a thorn in the side. So, like I said, I don't expect them to be a playoff team, but I expect them to knock off of some teams, because they play ugly. If they around in the fourth quarter, you might be losing that game. So I think they'll be all right, man. So yeah,
Yep.
Mark. Yep.
Yep.
That's what I was saying. I knew,
Yeah,
I
because
knew, I
I was
forgot
hoping
which
you would
one
go.
because
Mm-hmm.
I knew it wasn't Bob Stoops. I knew it wasn't Bob Stoops because I knew Bob Stoops was at Oklahoma for a long time and they was good too. So, but yeah, man, nah, I think they'll be all right. 7-6 is a good year for them. Obviously, I think they wanted to win that bowl game, but I mean that's all right as long as they're consistently good and they get better. I think when they find them a quarterback that they can mold instead of going to like getting
Transfer portal.
Leary like they had last year, I think when you can mold a guy from freshman to junior or senior, I think that's the perfect way to go for a program like that anyway. Just because you know, I think that'll work. But 7-6 is a really good year, man. Definitely a good year, man. So but like I said, I don't really want to run that I don't want to run that dang ad again. But I will do this, man. We're gonna try something new. We'll see if our executives like this or not, but we're gonna see. Because I don't want to run the same ad again. It seems like bleh. But let's talk about college football dogs, man, during this break, man. So obviously college football dogs is the place where we get our grind on, get our shine on, man. We enjoy being a part of this journey, man. So tell the people what you like about college football dogs, man.
So before I get into that, don't forget live on Dogs TV. Just want to let you guys know, Dogs TV, bro. We're live on Dogs TV. So College Football Dogs is a upstart, really cool company, man. Trying to bring, like how he always says, bring integrity back to sports, especially
Yep.
sports media. Especially like when we were kids, we always are talking about nostalgic things, like with just how Sports Center, ESPN used to be back in the day. Just people genuinely cared. and it wasn't so blind like it is nowadays. College Football Dogs is bringing the integrity back into it, bringing the passion, the fan base, all of that good stuff, man. You have passionate writers, editors, social media guys, podcasters, the presidents, and like the CEOs of the company, man. Everybody has the same genuine goal, man. They want this to blow up, not just for our own benefit, but we want to be able to give you guys a genuinely great experience with all kinds of different shows, all kinds of different information, articles, sports related. Because guess what? We want to be that resource that you guys go to, so you don't have to deal with ESPN. You don't have to deal with bars. You don't have to deal with any of them. You can come to us. We can touch on all the avenues, all the teams, all the cool stuff, man. They are taking over. And if you guys don't realize it now, wait until the season starts. And you guys are going to see, like, we're for real. And you guys are going to be really happy with the product that we're creating, just as us personally, and then the company as a whole. So definitely check them out, collegefootballdogs.com, Dogs TV. Have a group of really talented people in all different levels, man. Check out the store. Check them out, College Football Dogs. Pause up.
All right, yeah, man. Couldn't have said it better myself, man. College football dog. Join the revolution, man. We excited about that, man. So gotta give them some shine, man. Doing that commercial break. Like I said, trying a different format. Probably try to get another commercial though, so we can run that too. But like I said, we're just trying new things, man. But we're in the home stretch of this, man. Only
Oh, 4 or 5 teams left?
yeah,
There's
something
one for
like
sure
that.
I want to talk about, but I guess we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, of course, man. So, we're gonna talk about Mississippi State, man. Did you go or I went last time?
I think I did. I think it's your
Okay,
turn.
so well, let me run that again, man. So, Mississippi State, man, it's been a rough couple of years for them. Obviously, losing Mike Leach. I think,
RIP.
yeah, that was tough, man. So it's tough losing him because I think their team was built around his play calling. Honestly, being able to call pass plays, attack defenses. I mean, they weren't a national championship team, but they could always beat anybody any day. You had to be ready to stop the pass. You had to be ready to contend with at least 70 pass plays a game. So, but once he, departed this planet, man, you could tell that their team was hurt a little bit. It was rough. And then last season they went with Arnett, the defensive coordinator, and it just didn't work out, man. He only lasted 10 games. So it was rough, really rough. But I think they should be around 7 wins next year, maybe 5, 7. That should be a good start for them, man. I don't think they'll be in Vanderbilt territory. But hey, there's rebuilding. They're rebuilding. They
It
need
hurts
to.
them losing Will Rogers, though.
Yeah, Will Rogers was pretty good, but I mean, if you're him, the program's going through a rebuild phase, and had losing, your head honcho, Mike Leach, you lost a little bit of your offensive firepower, because you knew he was gonna call a certain play for you that would work, right? And if you didn't like it, you could use your football IQ and then check into a run play, right? But you knew you were going to be attack mode all the time, right? And there's only so much you can do, man. But it's been a rough couple years for them, and I think it continues. But I think they start to get the ball rolling, man. I think because Mississippi State is another school that you can win at because there are a lot of talent surrounding you. It's not just you're not in the middle of nowhere. You got Alabama on one side. You got Florida down a little bit away.
Louisiana, you got Texas.
Texas, it's all there. So you got a chance to win, man. So it's all about what they can do as far as rebuilding their infrastructure and try to win. But they'll probably be in the same spot next year, man. 5, 6, 7 wins, maybe if they're real good. But we'll see. I don't know. But that's kind of how I see Mississippi State, man. So as we get into this next thing, man. So we already did them. Man. So I want to say that last team. Because I think we both can talk about that team, man. So let's
I want to see
go.
who you go.
Let's go.
Oh, there you go. Yep.
One of the teams that I feel like will be in the playoff mix, man, because having a quarterback is better than not having one. And they have a Heisman candidate quarterback, man. His name's escaping me. I want to say
Jackson Dart.
Dart. Yep. Jackson Dart. Yep. He's a Heisman candidate quarterback, man. He's really good. Really good. I like him a lot. I think he'd be awesome. And it'd be cool. So, but your take on it. Your take on Ole Miss, man. I'm sorry. I took your spot.
No, you're good, man. No, you're good. You're good. You kind of gave me a nice little warm up. So, Ole Miss is a team I'm really high on, dude. Lane Kiffin has really got that program in a good spot. You brought up Jackson Dart. I think he's going to be one of the leading candidates for the Heisman this year. One of the best passes in the conference. You get Judkins back at running back, which I think is awesome because he was
no. I think he's gone. Yeah.
No, I thought
he
just got done saying that he was still there recently.
I think he's with Ohio State now, bro. I think so. Really? I think he's with Ohio State now. Hold on. Let me see.
Well, dang, then me and you must have been wrong the last time then, because we definitely went on a tangent about that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's with
there.
he's with the Buckeyes, bro.
Okay, so no big deal. That's not going to affect my spill. So you bring back Dart. You still bring back a lot of good key players on offense. The signing of Walter Nolan from A&M is a big deal. That is a huge deal because Ole Miss is already like ultra talented on defense. They're fast, bro. They are fast and they are aggressive. Like they are really good at getting after the quarterback, and they're really good in coverage, especially in the game we played them last year. Ole Miss is going to be one of those. I think Ole Miss makes. If I had to pick Ole Miss and Tennessee for the playoffs, I'm picking Ole Miss every time. I just think Ole Miss is just better top to bottom, in my opinion. And I'm just a little bit more of a believer in Lane Kiffin. Ole Miss is just dangerous, bro. Like, they can score with the best of them. They're talented on both sides of the ball. Lane Kiffin's an offensive genius. And, boy, he's got them guys wanting to play for him, bro. They want to win.
Yeah.
Like, last year, you could see.
Yeah, they want to win bad, too.
And we keep saying year after year, like, when's it going to be it? This year could be a year that they make a legit ploy at the SEC championship. I'm not saying they can win it, but I think this year is a year they could legit make it and have anybody on their heels trying to win that championship. So I think Ole Miss is really good. They play energetic football. They just run sideline to sideline. They are very aggressive. They're hungry. They're young, and they're ready to go, man. I think Dart has got – this is going to be his case to win the Heisman this year. And like I said, I think he might be in New York at the end of the season, possibly winning the Heisman Trophy. I think Ole Miss is ultra talented. I think they're going to be one of those 3, 4, 5 teams tops from the SEC that makes it. I'm high on Ole Miss. I think they're still going to be in that 10, 11 game wins. I don't know. I'm really high on them.
No, man, I agree. I'm high on them too. I think they get into the college football playoff. I think it's between them and Tennessee, honestly, as far as that last SEC team to get in, depending on how it shakes out. But I think they can get in there as well, man. Like I said, money is everything. And if you got a hot Jackson Dart who may or not have won the Heisman yet, you want to see him in there, man. It's like Trey Young when he was at Oklahoma and they put him in the tournament, but Oklahoma was really bad. Money, man. Come on, he's exciting. Jackson Dart, if he's hot coming into the tournament or college football playoff as a Heisman winner, you're gonna want him in there, man. So like I said, if the format was 12 teams and last year, Jaden Daniels would have been in the playoff. No doubt. He would have been probably 7, 8 in that thing because he's a Heisman winner, bro. You gotta let him play, So I think that'll work, man. I think Ole Miss is gonna be really good, man. So as we start to the speed through it, we don't want to go too long, man. But let's talk about some of these bottom feeders, man. So we're gonna start with Auburn. Not necessarily a bottom feeder, especially with Hugh Freeze there. But last season, one of the lower tier teams, man. Like I said, I'll talk about them. Auburn is a thorn in our side. I don't like them. Step below Tennessee. Don't like them. Don't wish anything good for them. I hate they got Hugh Freeze because now they might be good. And so I'm mad about that. Like I said, their stadium sucks. Their fans suck. I don't like them at all. But as far as football is concerned, man, that's a really good program, bro. Like I said, fandom aside, it's a really good program. When they're really good, they're really good, and when they're really bad, they're really bad. So they ain't no in between with Auburn, man. Last season was actually in between, which is surprising, but because they was good and bad at the same time. But I think they're trending in an upward trajectory. But I think with Hugh Freeze, they're going to win like 8-9 games next year. I expect them to improve, but not much. Not much. But we'll see. We'll see, man. I don't know. But let's talk about Vandy, man. I think we can all say that was pretty bad, bro. Bad season. But Clark Lee is really doing a good job there, man. We can hit this real fast.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt will probably be in the same spot, man. If they achieve more success than they had last year, that is a positive.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say anywhere. I think they're 4 to 5 wins. I think Vandy is
okay.
New look SEC, a lot of different things going on, a lot of surprise teams. I think they win 4 to 5 games. I don't think that's
pretty good. Hey, look, man. Under Derek Mason, man, they won like 6 games, like at least 2 or 3 years when he was there, and they beat some good teams too. They beat Florida, I think, one time. They beat Tennessee one time. They beat they beat Mizzou one time in a really good game. So I mean, they got talent there. It's just academically, the school's just hard to get in, and athletes, they might be smart, but they ain't no 3.5 smart. And the way they have it set up, it's just hard to get in there. They're not saying you're not smart.
They got the Notre Dame thing a little bit, except without
not saying that they aren't smart enough to get in there. They just have a level of player that they can't reach because those players have to be academically at a certain level. And if you're an athlete, man, I know you focus on training. The last thing you want to do is try to get a 4.0, bro. I mean, you want to try and do it as you want to, but bro, their school, it's just levels to it when you talk academically. And when you're looking at athletically, it takes a hit. That's just what it is, man. So when they want to get into a certain level, they're going to have to lower those standards. And Vanderbilt's not going to do that because football doesn't make them as much money as baseball does. And I'm being honest with you. It doesn't. And they're not going to change their standards to compete in football when they got baseball winning national championships all the time.
It's true.
So there you go. So, but like I said, Vanderbilt was really bad last year, but I do think that they improved, like you said, because you can't get much worse than 2-10, dog. That's bad. So they got to get something going. I think Clark Lee's in a good spot, and once he rebuilds them, he's going to be the next Vanderbilt coach to ascend to a new head coaching job. I think that's the way it goes, man. I think when you think of James Franklin, he was there, Penn State. You look at Derek Mason, he was there, DC at Auburn, now head coach at Middle Tennessee State. So I think Clark Lee will be the next one to ascend to another level if he can fix it. Next year's a big step,
You're right.
in his resume, should I say. So,
True.
So yeah, but like I said, we only got like 2 more teams left. So I'm gonna start with the elephant in the room, man. Let's start with Texas, man. One of the biggest and most important brands in college football. That Longhorns logo makes money all the time. Yeah, horns down. We ain't talking about that.
You know, they took it out. They made it to where it's not in college football 25. Haters, they don't want you to freaking be able to do that.
Man, no, man, it's horns down, man.
Horns
But it's
down,
talking,
bro.
but it's talking. We talking college football, man. Um, the Longhorns is a part of football lore. I mean,
Historic.
they had Heisman winners, they had national championship
Great
teams,
coaches.
great coaches. Like, come on, man. Like, it's one of the biggest brands in college football, and to have them in the SEC is just going to bring more money, man. And they are one of those teams that could sneak into the playoffs if they have a couple losses, because money it wins in this game. And when they want to get into the playoffs, man, all they gotta do is start pushing that logo card. And they one of the first teams to have their own network, like the Longhorns network. Like, come on, man. Then I think Notre Dame was first, but then the Longhorns network started right after that. So, like, that brand is crazy, you know. And they had a good season last year, even beating us on our own field, like in a really tough game. But fair is fair, man. Like I said, I wasn't mad. I figured that game could either go our way real well or go their way real well, you know, and it went their way. And but both teams got into the playoffs, so I was happy about that. Obviously Quinn Ewers comes back, big deal. Big deal as far as Arch Manning is concerned as well. So there were a lot of talks about him leaving because Quinn Ewers came back for his senior season. But Arch Manning is still there, and I think once he gets the reins, if Sark doesn't go to if he doesn't go to the NFL, I feel like he'll be good. He'll be good, man. He'll be good. It's gonna take a lot for him to leave Texas, though. A lot. You know, that's one of those jobs that you grow
Once
up.
you got it, like, you're not going, bro. Like,
Yeah, man.
It's just like when Saban was at Alabama, or like any of these big coach, like Michigan, Ohio. Like, when
Yeah.
you're in, like, bro, it's got to be a heck of an offer
Yeah.
to get you to leave. Like,
Yeah.
I think he's right where he wants to be for the foreseeable future.
I agree. Like, you don't leave school like this. Like, this is a big not like the Big Ten conference, but this is a Big Ten job as far as like hierarchy goes. You know, you got your Bamas, you got your schools that are really good. You know, the Ohio States. That's a job that you want as a coach. So you don't leave that. The NFL is cool, but you don't leave.
Yeah,
that.
but you gotta be there because, man, you can cement your legacy. And like how Saban created a culture over almost a 20-year period. When you get a job like that, I think that's the goal typically. Most of the time, you get a job like that, it's like, man, I'm here. I'm going to put my stamp on it. I want to be in that list of really good coaches who are able to turn things right.
Yeah, man. I agree, man. It's not like I said, just to let people know we talking about Texas. But yeah, I think they'll be good, man. They're gonna be really good next year, man. They won the Big 12. They're bringing a lot of heat into the SEC, man. They're gonna be one of those teams that they're gonna be the team kind of like Mizzou was coming into the SEC. Like, everybody wasn't talking about Texas A&M. They were talking about Mizzou. Why? Because Mizzou was really good in the Big 12. Now you got Texas coming in there really good in the Big 12, better than Oklahoma coming into the Big 12, coming out of the Big 12, should I say. So I
am curious to see where they're going to be at defensive wise on the line.
Yeah.
I need to see what they're going to do with that.
I agree. Losing Bo Davis is a big thing, and you can see we still trying to recover from that. So, I'm already hip to what he got going on. I think he's gonna be he's a real big loss, man. But don't matter,
I think
man.
they're still gonna be good though, man. They'll make it up offense.
Sark is gonna call plays, man. He's gonna call plays that, man. I hate playing Sark because he's him. Lane Kiffin, who else is a real man? Ryan Day, like all them dudes that sit there and just talk offense all day and just know how to attack any defense. Like, it don't matter. Like, it don't matter what you call.
It ain't even fair, bro.
Yeah, like they already know. Like, you line up you line up in the 46 defense, they're gonna know how to beat that. Like 4 different ways, right? In one play. Like Hugh Freeze is another
Got the
one,
Vince
for
Lombardi
example.
thing.
Yeah, like Hugh Freeze is another guy that's a genius
Yep.
at offense, like attacking you. Like bro, I hate those guys, man, because they can beat you. You're gonna have to be almost on every detail to stop them, man. So I know that don't matter what game they in, if they have a horrible game defensively, offensively,
They gonna score points.
yeah, they go score points. You're gonna need at least 35 that day to beat them. So yeah, but Texas is good. It's one of those teams in there. So I think we only got one team left. I think
Yep.
we touched on everything, man. So, but this is a team that I really wanted to talk about, man. Let's talk about the Gators, dog.
Oh, that's not the last team. We still got another team after that. I forgot.
Which one?
A&M.
All right, no. Let's start with A&M. Let's do A&M first. Let's do A&M first. Let's do it. We on the fly. Did I even do A&M? I thought I did A&M. Uh-oh.
Oh, the disrespect to Mike Elko.
Yeah, disrespect, man. But you could
I got you.
But you can lead us into that, man, because I know I made a graphic for them.
So
I made a graphic.
Man, A&M had to fork out a huge payday to Jimbo Fisher last season. If you guys didn't know, man,
Yeah.
hey, my dog is set for he ain't never got to coach again. He
ain't got to coach a day in his life.
He ain't even got to step out the house ever again. I'm sorry that he got paid out. Like you thought Ogeron's payday was nice, but his is way crazier. I like what A&M did, man. They're still doing really good in recruiting. You get Mike Elko, who I thought did really good at Duke, turn that program around, turn Riley Leonard into a really good quarterback. I thought he was going to come to A&M with him, ends up going to Notre Dame. A&M gets Connor Weigman back, which I think Connor Weigman's pretty good. He's doing surprisingly well in the transfer portal and recruiting in his first year. A&M's not a slouch in either one of those categories this year. They're still ultra talented, still bringing back a lot of good guys. It sucked not getting Walter Nolan back. I think that kind of hurts them a little bit. But other than that, it does hurt them. But I think Mike Elko's gonna have a good year one, man. I think the benefit of him coming into a new conference with no divisions, I think they're gonna shock a lot of people. They're another one of those teams, man, that is always the thorn in somebody's butt. They're always the thorn in our butt. That's probably one of the best games we play almost every year. A&M's just always good. Always. Like a couple years ago when we had a chance of going to the playoff, that was the team we lost to. And I think Elko is going to have that program. He's already got that program in a much better place than Jimbo did. I think they'll be good, man. I could see them being anywhere. I'm going to go out on a limb and say anywhere between maybe 6 to 8 wins. I think he's going to really have a good year this year. So I think A&M's going to be really good. I think they're still really talented. And I think the program's in a much better place than where it was last year for sure.
Yeah, and I think he'll be good. I mean, what he did at Duke was really amazing. I think Riley Leonard chose to go to Notre Dame just simply because Texas A&M was losing a lot of people. You didn't know who was going to be there. And even though you're in the SEC, man, you don't want to get beat up all day. And that's kind of how it was going to go. I mean, losing Evan Stewart to Oregon, which I think when we get into the Big Ten, that's one thing.
That's gonna be a team we both gonna be talking about.
yeah, exactly. So, but it was rough, man. Losing LT Overton was another one. He came to Alabama, so I was actually kind of excited about that. I wanted Walter Nolan as well. I wanted the clean sweep. I wanted all of them. Like, look, Jimbo Fisher left the cupboard hot, so I'm like, let me start grabbing. Wide open, bro. Let me start grabbing. I want all of them, man. So, but it happens, man. You can't just get everybody because then people leave and then stuff like that. But Texas A&M should be good. I think defensively was the best part of their team, honestly. To be honest with you, even when Jimbo Fisher was there, I thought defense was really good. I just thought offense was whack because he didn't want to give up the play calling duty. Like, bro, you suck. Give it up.
Even when you had Petrino, he didn't want to give a full to Bobby Petrino.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Bobby Petrino.
That was gonna happen.
Bro, Bobby Petrino been calling offenses for a long time, dog. Let him do it. Like, I mean, he was good in Louisville.
We both said that was gonna happen, though. We both called that.
Yeah, like we both said it. We both said he wasn't going to let nobody take over play call, and that's why he lost, man. Couldn't let his ego get out the way. He a really rich man, but I guarantee he didn't want to go out like that. I guarantee he didn't
Hmm.
want to do that. So, but he has ego get him, and that's why he's not there no more, and that's why Elko gonna just take them to a whole nother level. It's one of those hotbed teams, man, that if they could just harness it, they got a good fan base, a great stadium. They're in Texas, so recruiting's there. You're in the SEC. They got everything they need to really take over to take the next step, man. They hit it with Johnny Manziel, and then they've been searching for that next thing after that. So it's just time for them. They might have the right answer. So we'll see. I don't know. But Texas A&M, I apologize for all the Aggie fans out there, man. I really thought I made a graphic for y'all, man. But that's okay. That's okay. Next time we'll do it. We'll do this time next year. Y'all have a graphic, and I'll make sure about that. But let's get into this last team, man. This last team, man. A lot of teams in the SEC. So, but let's get into this last team, man, before we close out the show. Don't want to overrun, but here we go. Let's talk about the Gators, man. Talk about the Gators, man. So my perspective on a 5-7 season is that you had some missed opportunities, right? You won a lot of games, but you lost a lot of them too. And I feel like there were a lot of close games in that 7 that they lost, man, which means they right there. They right there, man. We're not talking Nebraska where they was losing them close games and it's like, oh my God, Scott Frost is this genius. I'm like, nah, bro, you getting beat in the
Hmm.
fourth quarter in every game. What is the
I
problem?
swear, it was so bad.
In
Oh
the
my
fourth
god.
quarter of every game, what is the problem? So now everybody's like, well, yeah, we got to get better. Now those fingers starting to point at you, Scott Frost. What are you doing wrong, right? So now, so now you're looking at Florida in the same light as that, right? All right, we've been teetering on 7-6, 6-7 bowl win season, but we're in one of the hot states as far as recruiting. There are only three big states in recruiting that matter that you need to get into. That's California, that's Texas, and that's Florida. Those are the big three that you need to get into, right? So now we've been teetering on this 7-6, 5-7 seasons, right? Under Billy Napier. We both have said that he should have taken another job before this. But he's there now. Now we got DJ Lagway as the future quarterback, who I think is going to be thrusted into the start lineup because they need energy. And I think nothing gives you better energy than a 5-star hot shot quarterback that can just start, man. You can mold him the way you want to, kind of like goddamn Dan Mullen was doing with oh man, what's number 5? What's his
A
name?
Rod.
No, 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 no. The other one. The other one. Oh man, he was the shifty one.
Oh, you talking about Emory Jones?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Because you think that's how Dan Mullen was winning all those games with Tebow. He was the perfect guy. That's the quarterback he wanted, man. So, but he had to do with Felipe Franks. So, but hey, that's neither here or there. We're not gonna be shitting on Felipe Franks right now. But the whole thing about Florida is there is a thing about Florida that they have to win. You're in the state that matters. You have to win. You can't be letting Miami win. You can't be letting Florida State win all these recruiting battles. You have to win. So this season is big, right? Because they have the hardest schedule in college football. We know that. We've discussed it 1,000 times. They have the hardest schedule. If they win 7 out of the games that they have win, I'm putting it high at 7, right? If they win 7 of them, Billy Napier is safe. And then we can start building to the next one. But I feel like anything less than 7, they're gonna be like, get out of here, and that's how they're gonna be. So I think 7 is the ceiling for them, and it's gonna matter, man. So I think that's the big thing, man. So that's my take on Florida, man. That's my whole thing. I think they should be way better. They've had better teams, and when they've won these recruiting battles, they look real good. Spurrier, Urban Meyer, even Dan Mullen, right? They've had some really good teams, man. Even under
Muschamp.
McElwain, it
Yeah.
was really good. I think Muschamp left Muschamp, although Muschamp was bad, right? He didn't. I think the biggest thing about Muschamp, and we can add this into our closing argument segment because this is really what I wanted to talk about. But even under Muschamp, bro, they had some really good defenses. I think the only thing that was hurting them was quarterback. They could never find one. Jeff Driscoll was supposed to be that guy, and then he wasn't nothing. And then it just was defense. But when McElwain got there, he used all the offensive talent that he had, and he started to win games. And that defense was really good for like a 3-year stretch. Florida had some studs. So, I don't know. I just think I think Florida's gonna be all right, man. What you think about Florida as we move into the closing segments of our show?
So, and obviously we're gonna get to whoever we think is gonna win the conference real quick. But Florida, I've been on this hill and I'm gonna stand on this hill. This is his year to make or break. Napier they've done really good in recruiting. Give him credit. He is a really underrated recruiter. Really good. He's in a really, like you keep saying, he's in a really good place. He's in a hotbed for talent. Florida's one of the top 5 locations in the country to recruit in. He's doing really good there. Doing good with transfers. Him to keep his job, man, you have to win 7-8 games.
Yeah.
If you are not winning 7-8 games, you are out. Like if you win 6 games, you are out. Honestly, I think he needs to win 8 just to be safe. You need to win 8. Just to be safe, because I feel like 7-8 games, you need to be in there. And I think they can. I think they're going to be better at quarterback. I didn't think Graham Mertz was the worst, but I didn't think Graham Mertz is the greatest. You lost ETN, which kind of sucks, but you have Lagway at quarterback. You're still ultra talented. You're doing really good recruiting battles, especially NIL and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying I love Napier. I loved what he was at UL. I like what he was able to do. Like we said, we can get into all the other crazy stuff. But my prediction, man, it could go either way, man. It's either going to be where we're saying he need to be or it's not going to be. But if Napier wants to keep his job, you need to be bowl eligible. You have to be in a bowl game. And I feel like you have to get at least 8 wins. Like, I feel like that's the floor, bro. You have to. Because if not, they're going to be like, you know what, screw it, bro. We're just going to chuck it. You know what Florida does. If you're not where we want you to be in a certain amount of time, you're out the door and we're starting over again. So I don't want that to happen to him. I think he's a good coach. I don't want him to have to start over. So 7-8 wins, he keeps his job. Anything less, I'm thinking he's out the door. But I think that's definitely plausible for them going forward.
I agree, man. I ain't too mad about it. I think Florida has a opportunity to be real good, but the schedule is gonna make it hard, man. But I guess what, they'll be all right, man. But as we enter our last segment, man, our closing argument segment, man. So let's talk about who's winning the SEC, man. So you know me, I'm going Alabama. I think the element of surprise. I think Jalen Milroe's been working hard. He's already a freaking tank, and he looked like he done got more body armor. So he looked good, man. I think the shock value of the defense being different is going to allow us to succeed. I think just a fresh air as far as one offensive skill set, offensive scheme. I think we're just gonna mesh a little bit better, man. I think obviously new coach, so you know you're gonna have some hiccups, man. So I'm not saying we go undefeated, but I do think we're one of the 2 teams in Atlanta, man. I think that's how it's gonna go. And I think if we're not, I think we still get in, obviously, because we've got some really good players. And I think Milroe should be in the top 3 in the Heisman voting, barring injury. Knock on wood, we don't want that. But I do think he'll be top 3 in the Heisman, man, because I think his ability to grow as a passer is gonna be something that's gonna be awesome, man. I think if he grows in the way that I was hoping for, making the passes to the running back in stride, passing in that intermediate range, I think that will help a lot. And once you pass that much, that good, and affect the game, and you start winning games with your arm and not just your legs, now your legs is wide open, dog. Pause. We didn't want to do that. My bad. I didn't mean that. Yeah, my bad. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. But y'all know in the football term what I'm talking about. So stop that. Y'all know what
Get
I'm
out the gutter. Get out the gutter.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. But it is.
You know.
He is he's gonna be really good, man. The legs will be all over the place, and he will be able to run wild like a horse that he is. And that's my team. I think Bama can win the SEC this year, man. And if they do, they'll probably be the number 1 seed, and it won't be even any argument. Anybody, for that matter, anybody that wins the SEC is the number 1 seed in the playoffs. It's not even arguable. The hardest schedule of the year, hardest conference right now with Oklahoma and Texas joining. It's a wrap for everybody in the number 1 seed. Now, I think the national championship is going to be a champion. I think national championship is SEC versus SEC again.
Never know.
Hot take.
Okay.
Yeah, hot take.
I'll be honest with you. The SEC is wide open. I think it's any of these 5 teams. I think Texas is in there.
Nah, man, you gotta pick one. You gotta pick one.
You gotta let me get.
You gotta pick one. I pick one.
I got you. Just hold on. I got you. Let me cook a little bit. Let him cook. So Texas is So Texas is in there. Georgia is in there. Alabama is in there. Ole Miss is in there. LSU is in there. I'm gonna go out on a limb, man. The safe pick could be Georgia. Another pretty pick could be Alabama. I'm going to be honest with you. This could be 1 or 2 years. That's tough. Because I want to say this could be Brian Kelly's year. I really want to go out on a limb and say Brian Kelly's going to finally get them over the hump. Even if they don't win the SEC, I think they get over the hump. I'm going Ole Miss, man. I'm a hot take. Going Ole Miss. I think Jackson Dart, bro. I think he's going to be the difference maker. I just think he's going to take that next step, man. I think Ole Miss got really better on defense. I think that Walter Nolan signing was a big deal. I think the SEC championship is probably going to be Ole Miss and LSU. I'm just going to be honest. But I don't think it makes a difference because we're still going to have 4 teams in there anyway. So not saying the winner of the SEC doesn't matter because it does when it comes to seeding. But in a sense, it doesn't matter. Because I still think probably LSU's in there, Ole Miss is in there, Bama's in there, Georgia's in there. That's just my take. But I'm going to go down on a limb now. I'm going to say Ole Miss finally gets over the hump. I'm going to say Lane Kiffin finally gets all the pieces together. I'm going to say Ole Miss wins the SEC. But in the grand scheme of things, it's going to be an SEC playoff anyway, so it doesn't necessarily matter, if that makes sense.
Yeah, man. So I agree. Okay, I like Ole Miss. Hot take. I like it. Different. Definitely different. But yeah, man. That is our show, man. Our SEC breakdown, man. Every team of the conference, man, even our conference winners, man. So book it, mark it, if you watch this, call us on our picks, man. And call it a day, man. But yeah, man. So before we get up out of here, man, anything you guys say?
Yeah, man. Live on Dogs TV, man. Check out College Football Dogs live on Dogs TV, man. Thank you for anybody currently watched at any point, or maybe the people that are going to watch later on or not live. Thank you guys for all the support. Doing really good on YouTube, man. 16.5 and growing. So if you are on YouTube, don't forget to like this if you love this kind of content, smash the like button. Leave a comment. We love comments. Subscribe. If you're already subscribed, make sure you hit that bell notification so you'll never miss a live stream. Cam's doing a lot of gaming stuff. I started a series on my end too. If you like our shorts, our weekly videos, don't forget to hit the bell notification. Check us out on Twitch. Like I said, check us out on Dogs TV. If you're on somebody's on the go, check us out on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Podcasts, all of that good stuff as well, man. We are growing at a very exponential rate. College Football 25 comes out in less than a month. We will be streaming between us two and other people with the College Football Dogs Network. Might do a subscriber league. We might do a fantasy league as well for subscribers and stuff like that. So definitely check us out. But thank you guys for all the support. Strap up, get ready for the ride, bro. It's about to be real fun. Season's right there.
Yeah, man. Couldn't say it by myself, man. We're in the weeds, bro. We are in the weeds of the college football season. We right there. So just continue to join the ride, man. And let's get it, man. College football, this is where you get all your content from, man. So it's all good. But I'm Cam. That's Brandon, man. This is a Football Friend of Mine podcast. Signing off.
Signing off.
Peace.
Peace.